What up, sports fans? Waxon Wednesday, Jake Waxman, Tall Level at Two Guys Talk Sports. Let's talk some sports. Alright, so today I'm going to be focused 100% of course on the ncaa tournament, Sweet 16 and Elite 8, of course. That's this weekend, but before I go forward, we're going to take a look back. Some of you have probably been wondering, or for those of you who don't know, I am an Oakland University alumni. Went to Oakland for at least 4 semesters, graduated with a degree in history. I bet some of you have probably been wondering, I wonder what Jake was thinking when Oakland upset Kentucky. And for this first subject, that's the focus. I'm going to tell you what my thoughts were. I will start by saying this. I picked Oakland to upset Kentucky in my bracket. I really did. So the outcome of the game was not a shock, just the outcome. But here's the thing: you could still not be shocked and still feel just lost for words for what just happened, and that's how I was feeling when Oakland upset Kentucky. I just was at a loss for words. I wanted to do a video on it, but I just didn't know what. At that time, I was struggling with what to say, like what I was going to tell you guys. I mean, it was incredible. It was a feeling unlike any other, because like I said, being a guy who went to Oakland University and seeing the school that you went to make a whole lot of noise in the NCAA tournament, a school that not many knew about, it is a feeling like no other. I was really happy. I mean, I was stoked that night. I was excited, all the great emotions that you can come up with. But I was mostly happy for the people of Oakland University. I thought back to my roommates, the professors that I learned from, all the other people there that I interacted with. I was thinking about all those people that night, all my experiences at Oakland, and all that was running through my mind, and it was a very delightful feeling. So, like I said, I picked Oakland to win that game, like even before the game, like Selection Sunday. When I saw that Oakland got Kentucky, I got excited. Me and Mom were both really, really excited. I was stoked because we were watching Selection Sunday, and when we saw that Kentucky had drawn Oakland, the first thing I thought to myself is, that is the best matchup Oakland could have gotten. Because I knew Kentucky's good. They're a good team, but they're also very, very young. And Oakland, being a veteran team, they could take advantage of that. And in that game, Kentucky made a lot of mistakes. They turned the ball over a lot. And you know that happens when you got a lot of freshmen. Freshmen make mistakes. It happens. And Oakland, it wasn't perfect for them. The start was a bit rocky, but once they got the lead, they started really focusing on making Kentucky play to their tempo, and that worked out to perfection. Once we got under the 10-minute mark, that's when I really, really started to believe we are going to win this game. It is good, and the biggest upset on the night is going to happen because Oakland had Kentucky right where they wanted them, and in those final minutes, Oakland never lost control of the game. They kept their cool, kept their focus, hit some big-time shots, and I just got to say, Jack Golke, who played for Oakland, he was absolutely sensational for the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. He shot the lights out. He was making shots that you shouldn't be able to make. Like, he was contested on a lot of shots in that game, and he still made them. But that's what it takes to win in the NCAA tournament. Good shooting. And I knew if Oakland can make shots, they're going to have a great chance to win this game. And you know what? All the things that Oakland needed to do to win this game, they did that. They could not have played a better game. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but they could not have played any better if they tried. They did. I knew this game was going to be a battle to the finish, and Oakland, they hung in there the whole way, stuck to the game plan, hit their marks and their shots. Greg Campy outcoached John Calipari, and the result of this is a tournament game for the ages, and one that we will never, ever forget. And I will just say, if you didn't know where Oakland University was, chances are you now know where it is. And just in case you forgot or still don't know, Rochester, Michigan. That is where Oakland University is. No. Not Oakland, California, okay? I know the name itself may suggest that, but no. It's really called Oakland University because it is in Oakland County, Michigan. That's partly how it got its name. Of course, Oakland University used to be the honors college for Michigan State before going on as their own entity and becoming Oakland University. But they are in Oakland County, Michigan, so that's part of the reason for their namesake. And remember, Rochester, Michigan. That's where Oakland's at. And I could not help but wonder that night. Is Oakland having a full-on party, like a full-on great party? I hope so, because they deserve to party up tonight, because this is a night that Oakland University is never going to forget. And if you loved upsets, this was a night for you. I mean, there weren't a whole lot of upsets in this NCAA tournament, but without doubt, in my mind, Oakland and Kentucky, biggest upset of the tournament. And yep, I was happy, ecstatic, just lost for words, floored in the best way possible, call it whatever you want to say. It was a great experience and something I'm going to be thinking about for a long, long time. I will never forget that. I thought a lot back to my days at Oakland when this happened, and I miss Oakland. I miss Oakland University. Sometimes I wish I was back studying, hitting up the books, studying, going to class. We all miss those college days, so a lot of that went through my mind too when this upset happened. But just the fact that the school that you went to got to play Kentucky on the national stage, not only upset them but make headlines, it's pretty special. It's pretty cool, to say the least. I'm still smiling, grinning ear to ear. It was fun. I would have loved to have seen Oakland go to the Sweet 16, but they left their mark in this tournament. And not only Greg Campy, Jack Golke, Trey Townsend, all those guys were sensational, and we shall never ever forget them. Okay, put them in the Legends of March Madness lore. Okay, because they deserve to be there. And something else to keep in mind before I move on: Jack Golke, he played Division II college basketball for 4 years at nearby Hillsdale College before transferring to Oakland and making his way to the big stage in March Madness. What a journey for Jack Golke. And overall, what a great weekend it was to be a Golden Grizzly. So proud of that team, and proud to be and always a proud alumni of Oakland University. Go Golden Grizzlies. All right. We're now going on at last to my next topic before I get swept away in my emotions, of course. So, I'll talk about... So, we got the Sweet 16 coming up and then the Elite 8 to follow, of course. But we'll start talking about the Sweet 16 by region. I'm going to focus first on the... I'm going to start with the... start on one side... Sorry about the sputtering. I'm going to start on one side of the bracket. The East and the West. Okay, so... UConn's in the Sweet 16 again. No surprise. I kind of figured they'd be there. They look absolutely dominating right now. They look good. And how about this? They get a rematch, a national championship rematch with San Diego State. These two teams met last year in the national championship. This year, their paths cross, or this time, their paths cross in the Sweet 16 in the East region. So... we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what San Diego State has learned from that national championship match with UConn. See what they apply into this. Because I think they can play. And hey, you never know. Obviously, UConn will be the favorite in this game, but we've also seen that UConn is trying to rewrite some history, or history kind of is against them. Not to say I don't think they can rewrite it, but we've seen that national championships usually, defending national champions usually fall in the round of 32, but that's not the case with this UConn team. I think it looks like this is a team that can defy history all the way. And they're going to, once again, history going to repeat. They get a rematch with San Diego State. It's going to be an intriguing one. Could go either way, although I think I like UConn in this, but hey, maybe I'll be wrong. And then the winner of that game gets the winner between Iowa State and Illinois. This matchup intrigues me a lot. You got a high-flying offense in Illinois. You got Terrence Shannon Jr., who can just absolutely fly to the basket and can command the presence in the paint and could shoot the heck out of the lights out. So you got a lot of talent on that Illinois team. And then you got this Iowa State team who's very sound defensively, but also very sound overall. And they don't have like a big-name player, but they got many terrific players on that team that can do what this Iowa State team needs to win any game. So they're tough. So it'll be interesting to see how this matchup goes. You know, you got Illinois' high-flying offense versus the tenacity of Iowa State. Who's going to come out of that? That game is going to be, that is going to be a game to watch. I think that one is tomorrow, if I am correct. I could be wrong. So it'll be interesting to see how Iowa State and Illinois really match up, because I don't know if I'd say they're evenly match up. They just have different styles of play, and they win in different styles. So it's just a matter of who's going to be able to impose their will in that game. And then we'll go to the Western side. You got North Carolina, the number 1 seed. By the way, all the number 1 seeds survive. So not too much craziness this March Madness. All the number 1 seeds survived the first weekend. So you got North Carolina, and if I'm correct, they are taking on Alabama. Another high-flying offense. They could shoot the lights out. And North Carolina, they got very sound on both sides of the ball. Can they contain that Alabama offense? We'll find out. But, you know, this West region is always very, very wild. So we'll see how things go from there. But that matchup between North Carolina and Alabama should be interesting. And Alabama, can they play strong enough defense to contain North Carolina? So a few questions there. Then you got, if I'm correct, Clemson and Arizona. So how's that matchup gonna go? You know, how is that gonna be? Clemson, obviously they got a hot hand going on. ACC looking very strong. And Arizona playing some of their best basketball at the right time. You know what? I think it's going to be a much closer matchup than most will expect. I mean, Arizona's the favorite, but you just never know. And of course, in terms of like the Elite Eight boat teams, you know, can UConn continue to defy history? Is Arizona peaking at the right time? Does North Carolina have more than they've shown? So we'll find out. And Iowa State and Illinois, whichever one of those two gets past the Sweet 16, I think they could give UConn a very tough matchup. Or San Diego State, tough matchup. Just a matter of who it is going to be between Illinois and Iowa State. Could go either way, but either one of those two teams could give the winner of UConn and San Diego State a whole lot of problems. It'll make for epic Elite Eight there. Okay. Now from our third subject, we're going to go to the other side of the bracket. South and Midwest. I'll start with the South. All right, Houston had to fight their way to get to the Sweet 16. Here they are. It'll be interesting to see how much more they got. I mean, they should have plenty left in the tank, but we'll see. Can they handle the pressure that Duke is about to apply on them? The Duke Blue Devils. You know, I've had a lot of questions about them this season. They've been kind of back and forth, you know. But they're playing some really good basketball at the right time and seem to be very firm in their play style. Can they give Houston all they can handle and maybe more? That we'll find out. What other challenges will Duke present to Houston? And Houston, you know, will fatigue be a point for Houston because they had to play overtime, and also can they stay out of foul trouble? That is another question. Now, Houston's not a team that gets in a lot of foul trouble, but in that last game, that round of 32 game versus Texas A&M, they were able to win despite having a lot of foul trouble. So Houston's very versatile. How does Duke counter that versatility? And then you got NC State and North Carolina. Now, NC State was probably my crazy pick to go to the Final Four, and they're still here. They still got a shot. They knocked out my Golden Grizzlies as well, but they've looked good. They've built a lot of momentum in that ACC tournament, and that momentum has carried over to March Madness or the NCAA tournament. Now, can they keep this ride going against a very sound Marquette team? You got Tyler Kolek, who's playing some great basketball. How does NC State counter the Marquette attack on offense? How do they contain guys like Tyler Kolek? You know, what more they got left in the tank? That's going to be an interesting question. It should be a good matchup. Then you got the Midwest. We got a rematch between Gonzaga and Purdue. All right. I tell you what, Purdue looked absolutely fantastic they absolutely looked terrific in that first weekend. The round of 64 and 32 played very well. They had a slow start in both games, but once they got their rhythm going, they looked fantastic. They were rolling. Gonzaga, even in a down year, Mark Few continues to show that he can have his team ready to go for the NCAA tournament. ninth straight time they are in the Sweet 16. If that is not a great example of consistency, I have no idea what the hell is then. But not gonna be an easy matchup for Purdue. And by the way, these two teams played each other earlier this season, so it's a rematch from Maui. So Purdue only shot 23% against Gonzaga. Still, though, they found a way to win. Won't be easy this time. Purdue's going to need better than 23% shooting to beat this Gonzaga team. And then the matchup after that in the Midwest is going to be a very intriguing one. You got Creighton and Tennessee going at it. You've got a high-powered defense in the Tennessee Volunteers versus a very high-flying offense in the Creighton Blue Jays. Who's going to come out on top of that one? It all comes down to who takes care of the ball and whatnot. So, both of them, Tennessee also has a very solid offense, and Creighton's got a solid defense as well. It's just a matter of, you know your strengths if you're both those two teams, but whose defense or offense is going to complement best in that Sweet 16 matchup. So, then you got, now going back to the South, you got guys like Kyle Filipowski. How much of a factor can he be? He's played very, very well in the NCAA tournament. Can he keep things rolling going against a tough team like Houston? If he plays strong, Duke's going to have a very strong chance against Houston. And then you got NC State. Back to the NC State Marquette game. There's how deep does NC State go to its bench if things go south? And also, as I said, now I mentioned Purdue looked really good in that first weekend. But if Purdue's going to finally get over the hump and not only beat Gonzaga, but also win another game and get to the Final Four for the first time since 1980, if they're going to beat Gonzaga and then get to the Final Four, gotta be at your very best, just like you were this past weekend. Take care of the ball, make shots, gotta get more points from guys like Braden Smith and Lance Jones. Edey's going to get his. But if you can get more, because it was an okay weekend for Braden Smith, a decent weekend for Lance Jones, but if you can get more out of Smith and Jones, Purdue's got a great chance to not only win in the Sweet 16, but go farther. So, but if Purdue's going to continue to advance in this tournament, they got to be at their best. The Purdue team that I saw last weekend, that's the Purdue team we need to see in order if they want to continue going far. Making shots, getting contributions from everyone, starters in depth alike, and don't get frustrated, don't panic, take care of the basketball, make smart decisions. That's what I need to see from Purdue if they want to make history this weekend. And also, you got Gonzaga. What more do they got for Purdue? How can they match up with E? What adjustments will they make from that last matchup? I think they'll, hey, nothing easy. For Purdue, I think Gonzaga's they'll have a chance to upset Purdue. We'll see what they bring to the table, but it's gonna be. I think that Purdue versus Gonzaga rematch is gonna be a great rematch. Should be a very good game. Great game, actually. And then Tennessee, as I mentioned, Tennessee and Creighton. Who comes out of that one? That could be that game between Tennessee and Creighton could be a war of attrition. And it all comes down to whose depth steps up. And whose will is stronger and who wants it more. Simple as that. So, these are all my thoughts running through going into this weekend's Sweet 16 and Elite 8 matchups. So, we'll see how it all goes. And we'll see. I already got one region that's busted, and that's my West region. We'll see if my bracket actually survives intact this weekend. We'll see. I mean, I like to think I'm doing better than I've done in years past. Last year I did horrible. This year, I could be doing better, but I could be doing worse in the bracket games. I mean, it's still not great, but I did worse last year. But we'll see how that bracket survives. I'm not counting on anything because this is March Madness. All right. Enough of that, and on to this day in sports history. And on this day, the 27th of March, 1939, the first ever NCAA men's basketball championship. The University of Oregon defeats Ohio State 46-33 And despite Ohio State losing in the tournament, Buckeye forward Jimmy Hall is named the tournament's most outstanding player. All right, sports fans, that's all I got for this. That's all I got for this week's Wax on Wednesday. Enjoy the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight, and thank you for watching this week's Wax on Wednesday. Jay Waxman from Two Guys Talk Sports signing off.